A big hearty hello and welcome to our heart-centered breathwork introduction session. This is Nicholas Di Castella from the Australian Breathwork College. And in this session, we're going to talk a little bit about heart-centered breathwork. I'm going to guide you through a simple 1 minute breathwork technique that can reduce stress and anxiety by 50% in 60 seconds. I'm going to talk about why breathwork is the #1 transformational modality on the planet at the moment. And then I'm going to guide you through the pathway to discover the 3 pillars and the 9 steps to creating a thriving breathwork service to humanity. And then I'll map out the ingredients for our internationally recognized trauma-informed core clearing breathwork coach training, which is coming up in about 10 days. If you haven't met me before, I'm been a full-time breathwork practitioner for over 30 years, and that's all I've done. Haven't had any other jobs. I've just created a wonderful life in service to others with breathwork. I've also been training breathwork practitioners for 26 years. So we are not part of the latest fad of breathwork. We were doing breathwork and training people before anyone knew what breathwork was. And over those 30 years or so, I've delivered over 400 3.5 day residential retreats. The most famous of those is Passionately Alive, which is our foundation in-person training. It was the main thing that we did before COVID came along and closed down all our in-person workshops, which is why you're able to listen to this today because it pushed us online. So in the COVID lockdown, I took our year-long breathwork training, extracted the essence of it and put it together into this training, which is an expression of a process that I developed when I was a master coach for someone who was training life coaches. And that is the process of the core clearing breathwork. And so we'll talk a bit about that as we go through. So since the COVID lockdown, we now have trained over 250 people all around the world. And that's been super fun. And we're super geared up about increasing the connections and the support in our community. And because we put ourselves out there as heart-centered, not as Rambo jerks, we attract a lot of beautiful, loving, open-hearted, caring people who all want to help each other to thrive. So you're in a good place here. There's lots and lots of love and support for you. If you're stuck or blocked, just please feel free to reach out. We have lots of channels to connect. We have a WhatsApp group of master coaches. You have your own class group. We have a Facebook group. There's monthly mentoring with our master coaches and also with me. So there's lots of touch points and support for you if you need anything, as well as our trusty assistant, O'Brien, is always on the ready and go to help. So I've lived pretty much a dream life, but it hasn't always been easy. And in 1985, I was in the front passenger seat of this car involved in a head-on car accident on the way from Canberra down to the coast at Batemans Bay. At that time, I was 25 years old. I was on scholarship at the Australian Institute of Sport as an elite distance runner. And that really kind of shook my life up and turned my world upside down. It led into suffering from anxiety, and that led into chronic fatigue, which was really, really hard. Being on scholarship, expected to perform at an elite level, and just constantly running out of energy and building up and then breaking down again. And in response to that, I did the rounds of the doctors, health professionals, healers, psychics, and so on and so on. And it wasn't until 1988 that I had my big awakening. I went to my first personal growth workshop and all the pieces of the puzzle just came together. I had just written my architectural thesis in 1986 on the relationship between architecture and quantum physics. And when I did this workshop, I understood about creating my own reality, and that just totally changed the game for me. And I was just awake and inspired. And I've been living a more or less conscious life ever since. And I won't go into a lot more detail, but that's just a little snippet into some of my background. So, before we dig in too deep, I'd love to share with you one of my favorite breathing practices. We have 12 1-minute breathing practices that can reduce stress and anxiety by 50% in 60 seconds. This one is called spontaneous breath awareness. It's probably the simplest practice that you'll ever learn and could be the most powerful at the same time. So you can use this to de-stress, to cultivate harmony and balance, find acceptance and peace, and experience more ease, and ultimately discover delight in the simple act of breathing. So the instructions here are to, first of all, take a moment to rate your stress level from 1 to 10. So I'd like to invite you to take a breath into your body, just tune in for a moment and trust your intuition. 1 being totally relaxed and chilled out, and 10 being totally stressed out. So from 1 to 10 in the chat, I'd love to hear where you're at the moment. Just take a breath and feel inside, and then we'll check in later on and see where we are after doing this. 7, 3, 8, 5, 2, 5. Pretty fair spread. 5. 1 out of 10, but feet are 8 burning. Okay. So what we're going to do for the next minute is observe the breath with curiosity. Curiosity is a great quality to cultivate in personal development because it's judgment-free. We're just exploring. We're not making it good or bad or right or wrong. We're just, oh, look at that. Curious. So the second instruction, and I'll guide you through this together, is to let your breath be as it is. A lot of breathing practices are about changing how you're breathing. This practice is actually about allowing your breath to be as it is. The next instruction is to allow your breath to be unstructured, free-flowing, and spontaneous. So just let it be however it is. And when your mind wanders, just simply come back to the present moment, to your breath. Just tune back into your breath. Don't worry about thinking about something else or what, because everybody's mind wanders. And if you do that well, you'll feel this sense of effortlessness rising, where you just allow, and then that will give rise to a sense of pleasure if you're lucky. So let's give it a go and see how it is. So I'd like to invite you to sit yourself up nice and straight and let your eyes close gently for a moment. And just bring yourself into the present moment. Give yourself permission to be here in this moment just the way you are. Let go of trying to get anywhere or make anything happen, and simply focus your attention on your breath. So start to tune in to the breath and notice what you can about your breath. How does your breath feel? Does it feel effortless and free-flowing? Does it feel a little staccato or jerky? Does it feel a little bit held or tight even? Just feeling into your breath for a moment. You don't need to change it, just notice it. And notice the rhythm of your breath, the tempo. You're breathing fast, regular, or slow. Notice also the parts of your lungs that you're breathing into. Are you breathing mostly into your upper chest, the middle of your torso, or all the way down to your belly? Just however you're breathing, allow that to happen. Just becoming curious to explore your breath. Just for a moment, feeling all of that. Feeling your breath coming in and out. Just let it be as it is. Feel the natural impulse to breathe in and then the natural impulse to let go on the exhale. If your mind wanders, just gently come back to the breath again. We're just focusing on feeling the breath. Great. Okay, so that's probably about a minute. So let's round that off now with a nice gentle breath again down to your belly. Gently begin to bring yourself back. Nice deep breath to your hands and feet. Wiggle your fingers and toes and let your eyes open when you're ready. And then with your eyes open, take another breath into your body and check in on your stress level now. And then in the chat, love to hear where you're at before and then a dash and where you're at now. So the number you put in the chat before, yeah, so Susan's gone from 5 to 2, Liz from 7 to 5, 3 to 1 now, awesome, 3 to 2, 5 to 2, fantastic, awesome, 5 to 3, great. So I think we've pretty much confirmed the experiment, how we've got around about 50% stress reduction in 60 seconds. Of course, if you did it for longer, it'd be a bigger shift, but it's pretty powerful in that. If you're feeling stressed or anxious in your day, if you could find 1 minute, you could halve that stress level, which is testimony to the power of the breath. So this is my best answer to anyone who will ask you, I've been breathing all my life. Why do I need to learn to breathe? And your answer is, give me 1 minute and I'll show you. Right? So it's great. Yeah, 8 to 6. Bless you with the pain. You're heading in the right direction. That's what counts. Okay, so let's zoom out and look at the big picture of where we are on the planet at the moment. Why breathwork is flourishing around the world. I believe that what we're witnessing in the world is the birthing pains of a new heart-connected humanity. So there's a lot of trauma going on out there in the world. A lot of people are suffering from stress, anxiety, depression, emptiness, loss of passion and purpose. In the social level, there's a lot of timelines, demands, busyness, isolation, discrimination, wars, and so on. So socially, there's crisis all around the world at the moment, and environmentally, pollution, climate change, species extinctions, and so on. So we're witnessing on all three levels massive pressure upon us that's calling us to wake up. And I believe that these three levels of problem all have the same root cause, and that is our disconnection. What's happened for us in the West, particularly, is we've gone out of relationship with ourself and we've gone into our heads. And from our head, we experience life as separation. When we're connected in our heart, we experience love and connection across space and time. But when we're in our head, we're thinking, I'm here and you're there. And we are an object in space. But when we connect in our heart deeply, we realize that everything is just energy vibrating, and we are part of the transformation of energy from one state to another with no separation. So I believe that most of our personal crises are caused because we've lost connection with our sense of peace and love and happiness that's within us. That we have a lot of social injustice and inequalities happening because we see other people as separate from us and not not value them. And globally, we've gone out of relationship with our connection to the earth, and we've seen that as an object that we can exploit to our own ends to our own peril, in fact. So we've got all these pressures pushing on us, and that's the same as a birthing situation. When a baby's getting born, there's not always, but there's often a lot of pressure and pain often too. And so those things are not bad. They're actually calling signs for us to create change. So I'm here. My purpose is to invite you to assist in the next evolution of humanity, and that is to awaken a heart-connected humanity. We need to come back into relationship again and heal the root cause of the planetary crisis, right? So that will open the doors to a whole new way of living, connecting more deeply and holistically to yourself, to others, and to life. And inevitably, you will find your purpose in service to others with breath work when you come back into that relationship with yourself as a breathwork practitioner, of course. And that gives rise to the possibility of doing something meaningful that really makes a difference. So, um, we happen to see that breathwork is the number one most popular well-being modality on the planet in the context of a health and wellness industry boom that's now $5.6 trillion per year. So breathwork offers a sustainable and rewarding career opportunity in a growing industry in the context of alarming rises in stress and anxieties in adults and in youth. So the benefits of breathwork are now scientifically validated, so it's got massive credibility, and a lot of people are complementing other healing modalities, psychology, counseling, naturopathy, yoga, meditation, Reiki, energy healing with breathwork so that they can work more deeply and holistically. So this is a fabulous time for you to step into becoming a breathwork practitioner because you're on the front edge of a wave that's coming in and rising. So, congratulations. So, this session is really focused on mapping out our internationally recognized core clearing breathwork facilitator training where you get to work deeply and holistically and create a wonderful life in service to others. And Susan and I, as I said at the start, have been doing this for a long time. We actually have created an amazing life, following our hearts, doing what we love, and it's all turned out incredible. And so our mission now, we're both in our 60s, is to pass the baton on for the knowledge and learnings that I've developed over those 30 years of doing breath work so that we can help more people to open their hearts and come alive. So this is a fabulous opportunity if you'd like to work deeply and holistically with clients, gently facilitate profound emotional healing, find meaning in service to others with breath work, create your own flexible, rewarding income stream where you get to work your own hours online from anywhere in the world, and ultimately create your own raving fans and your own heart-centered community. So here's a little test to see if you're going to be a good breathwork practitioner. Here's some of the criteria. This is a dear friend of ours, Teresa Ratcliffe, who started working with us when she was working in a pie shop. She was a single mom. She had young kids. She'd get up and go and load the pies into the oven, come home, take the kids to the school, and then go back to work again in the shop all day. And she became a breathwork practitioner. When she finished the training, she decided she wanted to be a funeral director. So she joined White Lady Funerals. And so when you connect to your heart, you come in alignment with your deepest purpose. And she had this calling when she was a girl at school and then kind of forgot about it. And then when she opened up her heart and got the skills to help people in bereavement, she wanted to be there with people and families and loved ones were passing. So she put the skills to work, not necessarily getting them to lie down on the floor and breathe, but actually helping them through a very difficult time in their life. So the criteria that can help you to understand if you're going to be a good breathwork practitioner, the first one is you need to have suffered. And if you've suffered, you know what suffering is, and you'll have a natural compassion for other people that are suffering. And it's most likely have created in you caring, empathetic person who likes to help other people who are suffering. The second criteria is that you felt alone. And if you've been through life and you felt alone, you probably know the opposite of that, which is you feel fulfilled when you're connecting heart to heart with others. The third criteria, you felt unfulfilled. Maybe you started in a job. A lot of people in our community are in transition in their life. They've done the right thing. They've studied, they got the degree, they got the job, they've done their time, and now they're in a phase where they want to do something more fulfilling, more meaningful, making a bigger difference in the world. So if you feel unfulfilled, maybe you're feeling unfulfilled, which is where I was at when I did my breathwork training. I was actually working as an architect, but it just wasn't ringing my bells anymore. And it was time to evolve to the next level of service, basically. If you've been stuck, that's a fabulous thing too, because you're probably passionate about your own personal and spiritual growth, right? So, great criteria. Maybe you've been unacknowledged too. And so you know what it feels like to kind of be invisible, to be not celebrated, not treated, not acknowledged. And so from that place of knowing, you have a passion to inspire the greatness in others, right? So we call these the gifts from the wounds. Basically, how it goes is when you've suffered, you also develop compassion to help people that are suffering in the same area, and you develop qualities and sensitivities and motivation to make a positive difference, often in the same area that you've actually gone through yourself. Does anybody relate to that? Maybe a number in the chat. Which one rings most loud to you? And I'll just have a little sip of water while we're doing this so I get through this session. My throat. Let us know what's your greatest qualification here. All of them. Mm. Welcome to the human condition. Okay, so you'll be superstar breathwork practitioners. Susan, unacknowledged. Four in particular, stuck. Yeah, 1 to 5, or 1 and 5, I'm not sure. Anyway, I get it. Yeah, 1, 3, and 4, lots of resonance here. Yeah, thank you for joining in. It's good to join in the chat because it shifts you from being a spectator to a participant, which means you'll be more engaged in the process and get more from it. So thank you for joining in. Great. Yep, all 5, get it. Yeah, I expected that at some level. We all have, some relationship to those challenges. So let me talk about our heart-centered breathwork training. So we specialize in helping empaths to turn their sensitivity into a gift to make the world a better place. And there's 3 challenges that empaths tend to face. And the first one is they often get tired and burnt out from overgiving. They have trouble separating themselves from other people's pain, and they often end up taking it on and then getting burnt out from overgiving. The second challenge they have is I've noticed that empaths often have a passion to grow and to learn more and to continue to become self-actualized. So when they're not, they feel stagnant and they want to go deeper. So when you're an empath, you can feel the hidden layer that's underneath the material. And I think that that gives us a sense, a perception of the desire to grow spiritually, ultimately, to growing to the full potential of what we're capable of and to connect to that. The third big challenge that empaths have is they're not so good at business and marketing. And the reason for that most commonly is empaths are often good at taking care of everybody else. So they're good at giving their energy to everyone else and often receiving energy in the form of money and success and acknowledgement can feel unfamiliar and uncomfortable. So which of those 3 do you feel is most appropriate to you? Let's say 1, 2, or 3 for the moment. Tired and burnt out, stagnant, or not so good at business and marketing? Let me know in the chat. 1, 2, or 3? All 3. Okay. So These are the pillars that I designed our core clearing training on. So each of these is covered in the training. The first one is to be at your best, right? So what we need to do as empaths, we need to fill our own cup up to full to overflowing. So we need to do our own personal healing and growth, and so that you can supercharge your energy and get into flow. Right? That's the first pillar in the training. So this is the personal growth part of the training. The second pillar of the training is to learn breathwork skills, a profound way of helping people heal and grow. So what you're learning here is not just a set of techniques that you can learn on Udemy. It's actually a heart-centered way of living. It's a whole different way of living, living from the heart and facilitating breathwork sessions from the heart that has no end point. It just continues to deepen and your understanding grows as you go. And then the third pillar is how to create a life of service. And to do that, you need to build a service. You need to learn how to set up your practice, your breathwork practice, so that you can sustain yourself and be of the best service to others. And so, included in this training is all the business and marketing systems built for you, ready to plug and play. And I would have spent over $50,000 on my own business, sales, and marketing programs that I've attended and learned from. And I've been coaching breathwork practitioners for over 25 years on how to build a business. And so with this training, I took all of the essence of that and I gave everything that you need, boiled down, simple, step by step. Just do this, do this, do this. And Melanie is one of the people who actually did what I suggested, and she is thriving at the moment and going from strength to strength. So there's three pillars. And then we just covered those three pillars. The first one, be at your best. And so we're shifting from tired and drained and overwhelmed to inspired and excited and energized. And there are three steps in each of these pillars. And the first one is you're going to learn a comprehensive, complete range of heart-centered breathwork styles. And what I've identified is that there's 5 essential styles of breathwork on the planet. And you can put any practice into one of these headings. And we'll go into these in a lot of detail during the training, but we don't have the time right now to do this in this session. But I just want to map out and assure you that you're going to learn the comprehensive range of different breathing practices, the benefits, the history behind it, the science of it, and the instructions for doing it. And you get the PowerPoint presentations for all of these already done for you so that you can just get on there and plug and play. And I know Melanie came into this community on a 5-day breathwork challenge, and you get the whole slide set built for a challenge. It's formatted for a Facebook challenge, and then she ran her own challenge earlier on and set up a group. Take a minute to breathe, I think it was. So anyway, so the range of practices go from what we call minimal breathing on the left for raising well-being, raising carbon dioxide tolerance and nitric oxide, and we'll explain this as we go, through to the more regular calming breathing practices that are associated with meditation, polyvagal reset, just the slow, relaxed breathing. And then into the middle zone for optimal living, which is associated with heart coherence, which is a peak state of being that's been pioneered and developed, particularly by the Heart Math Institute in America. But there is massive bodies of scientific research that demonstrate when you're breathing about 4-4 or 5-5, that's 4 counts in, 4 counts out, or 5 counts in, 5 counts out, you activate a peak state of being. And just footnote, that is what our heart-centered breathwork meditation is based on, is activating heart coherence. And so that's a key practice in our community. And then if you speed the breath up a little bit more so that it's a 4-4 or 3-3 breath, you start to activate emotions, and people have the capacity then to complete unresolved emotional experiences from the past. And then if you keep speeding the breath up, you start to activate peak arousal states. And I underpin this with the note that all of our work is heart centered, and that means it's based on unity consciousness, that everything is connected in oneness and is held together in love. And from that understanding, it allows the process to be gentle and for us to surrender into basic goodness, that natural tendency in life towards peace and love and happiness and wholeness when we're present, connected, and open and flowing. So the flowing part is allowing ourselves to be present like we did in that spontaneous breath awareness, letting go of cognitive control and connecting to what is and surrendering the mystery and unfolding of life. And so that heart-centered approach colors all of these different breathwork styles when we do them in our community. So that's the first step, is learning breath work itself, not surprisingly. The second step in being at your best is learning how to activate what's known as flow state. That's related to activating the heart coherence that I mentioned. And we've been using this biofeedback technology for over 20 years. And it's using this that helped me to develop the heart centering breathwork meditation. That's part of the practice that I want you to do every day when you do module 1 in the training. And you'll find that will change your life if you do 20 minutes heart centering every day. We've seen massive shifts in people doing this. Very, very gentle, very beautiful, just coming home to the peace and love and happiness that's within us all. And it's all scientifically backed. And during the training, I'll show you this in action. I get Susan hooked up on this and she puts her heart on the screen and you actually see it in real time. And that's really powerful because it helps us to understand this kind of breathwork stuff. It's not woo-woo, it's actual science now. And there's step-by-step process that you go through to be able to activate heart coherence. And just by the way, you can also get the transcripts of the 5, 10, and 20-minute heart centering in the training. So you can record them in your own voice, right? And they're actually better than mine because I recorded those about 20 years ago. And then when I transcribed them recently, I went through and edited them all to how I would have really liked them. And so they're upgrades. The third step in your own personal growth, which is that first pillar of the training, is a 10-week You Can Change Your Life program. And so each week for 10 weeks, you'll go through a teaching on how to live your life from your heart in each of these 8 areas. And then I'll guide you through a core clearing breathwork session to help you identify where you're stuck or blocked and to clear that and connect back into your heart for happiness and success. So that's the 10-week program. It's called You Can Change Your Life. When you finish that, you get the same program to deliver to your clients. So you've gone through it yourself and then you know it from the inside out. The second pillar in the training is to facilitate profound healing. And so we're shifting from stagnant, bored, unfulfilled to confident, inspired, excited, and fulfilled. Thank you for the encouragement in the chat. I'm watching it as we go here. So, how do you facilitate profound healing? Well, the first step in module 1, as you're probably aware, is the self and co-regulation training. I ran a great session. When was that? 2 weeks ago or last week on self and co-regulation. So if you've missed that, I highly encourage you to listen to that because it really came out, channeled through me very clearly. So it was a really beautiful session. So that's all about how to be present as a breathwork facilitator for your clients, but also for yourself and your family and your friends as a clear channel for love, right? Because it's the quality of your presence that determines the ease and rate of healing in your own body and for those around you as well. Because presence, being embodied, being in the here and now, and being in touch with what your experience is rising in the present moment in your physical body creates a field of love that's the catalyst for the transformation to happen in, right? So that quality of presence activates a natural tendency to health, happiness, peace, and wholeness, right? So if you think about it, it was probably Christ's presence more than what he said that had the biggest impact on people. And if you think about the people who have impacted your life, It was probably the quality of their presence more than what they said or what they knew or the information. It wasn't that, it was the presence, their quality of energy that you felt that made a difference for you. So we use emotional and heart intelligence skills to be able to activate self-regulation and then hold a loving space for others. And that's the content of module one. If you're already enrolled in the training, you're probably working through that. And a footnote on this is, in order for us to be a clear channel for love, we have to heal our own emotional wounds first. That doesn't mean you have to have all your stuff sorted. It just means you need to be in the process of clearing the blocks that are stopping you from having your heart completely open. That's an ongoing process. So don't panic. I still don't like my mom or my brother or my sister or my ex-partner, whatever. That's okay. It's permission to be human. You don't have to have it all sorted. In fact, it's quite healthy to acknowledge that you don't have it all sorted, because then you're humble and you're present and in relationship to your clients. And this work is not about getting it all together, strangely enough. This work is much more about how can we find a way to love ourselves in the present moment. And the irony in that is that when we love ourselves as we are, the best in us shows up. Right? So don't stress about trying to get all your stuff sorted before you can be a breathwork practitioner. So here's a little video from Melanie that I love to share, because Melanie has, in my mind, come on an amazing transformation since we first met to where she is today, almost unrecognizable, and continuing to heal and grow too, like all of us. We're all on that journey together. So let's hear this.
I remember when I first came on, and Nicholas will tell you this, I was very, very afraid of doing breathwork because I was very worried about being traumatized, being diagnosed with a very severe form of CPTSD that could not be medicated. It did not work for me at all. And I was terrified. What I learned in breathwork was that it was the complete and other opposite to that. In fact, it became the only thing that I could sit with emotion with and allow myself to heal. It transformed my life completely. And how do you ever say thank you to somebody who gave you back your life?
So good on you, Melanie. You're an inspiration to everybody and well loved in the community. So the first step in facilitating profound healing is to learn to self-regulate and then hold space for others to co-regulate. The second step is to learn the core clearing process itself, and that is a journey of deep, holistic trauma healing. And so there are layers that we go through in the training, where we, first of all, need to get out of all the stories in our head. So we need to free our mind. So then the next step along that path is to come into connection to our body, to feel the sensations and to learn how to read our body signal and to work with the sensations and the energy that's moving in our body. And then connecting to the next layer down, the emotions that we're holding: happy, sad, excited, nervous, enthusiastic, frustrated, peaceful, calm, loving, whatever it is. Learning how to work with that energy and channel it and allow it to complete from unresolved past experiences, and then ultimately connecting into our heart intelligence. So those are really the four steps in the core clearing process that we just map out more and more clearly as you go through the training. And when you finish the training, you'll actually get an open-ended script to guide your clients through a core clearing process that's customized for every breathwork session, because every session is different. And the script will give you the confidence to start facilitating breathwork sessions pretty much straight away. So a lot of people start taking their partner or their friends or strangers in the street through a core clearing session the night that they finish the 2-day training. So that's in 10 days time. So you can get excited about that because you've got the script. The script will guide you through it, and it works. It's taken me 30 years to put that script together, and people just love it. It's very simple. It's very step by step. It's easy to follow. And pretty much, if you just read it from your heart, your clients will have a shift. And in the training, you'll get a safe and supportive environment to practice guiding other people in the training through that process. So you get the experience that leads to the confidence to knowing that it works and that you can do it. So that's pretty cool. Um, so there's the script. So, from the core clearing, you can do absolutely amazing things. And all the way through, I've said this training and this practice is very gentle. And somebody who's out there in the world doing amazing work is Marlon Walker. He's a breathwork practitioner in Prahran in Victoria, in Melbourne, and he's doing amazing healing sessions. He's also a remedial masseur, but he's actually helping people heal physical pain without massaging them now. And you can look up, he's got 55-star Google reviews. And based on all of that, he charges $2,000 for a 6 session breathwork package, right? And so this is really great value. He's out there. That's all he does. He's a breathwork practitioner and a remedial massage. And so he's a beautiful man and really inspiring and lots of fun to be with, and really facilitating incredible shifts using the core clearing process. The third step in facilitating profound transformation is helping people to access their own intuitive heart intelligence. So, what we do in the core clearing process that I really love is we empower our clients to get more in touch with themselves and to trust their own inner knowing. And that is built into the process, whereby when somebody is working on healing an issue that they're stuck on, actually growing as they're going through the process. And that turns life from a series of challenges that are like great big waves at the beach just whacking you to actually into a transformational journey. And I believe that we're here on earth to grow spiritually. And so embedded into the heart-centered breathwork approach is a spiritual practice that's practical, down to earth, very straightforward. And so we have a whole ecosystem or mindset framework that's embedded into each session, where we help our clients to identify which heart quality they're being called to develop to master the challenge that they're facing. So they actually embrace that heart quality and they grow spiritually as they're going through their life, which is really beautiful. And the two things I love about core clearing is one, that it's very gentle, and two, that it's empowering our clients to trust themselves. So instead of looking to us for the answers, they start to look inside and to connect to their own intuitive knowing in their heart. And that's a really fabulous thing. And it's actually quite easy for them to do too. It's not, you don't have to do a psychic development course to be able to do that. You just need to be in touch with yourself. And we do that, we guide them in the sessions. So the third pillar in the training is, how do you create a life of service? So shifting from working hard and just surviving to enjoying the freedom lifestyle. And so what you need, three pillars you need in here. Step one is you need a client attraction and enrollment system. So first thing you've got to do is you've got to get some people to connect to. So you've got to generate some leads. And then the second piece in this process is then you need to have a conversation with them and enroll them into a program. And you need that program to be able to deliver to them, to take them on a life transforming journey. And then you build your business through successful clients coming back and sending their friends to you. So all of these four steps is included, totally built out in the training as plug and play. So there's lead generation templates, posts, PowerPoint presentations, invitation letters, all written to you. The clarity session we go through in the training, so you actually get to practice in a safe and supportive place, having an enrollment session with someone else in the training, and the high value Tune Up Your Life program is built for you, ready to plug and play with everything you need. And so the whole system comes together with referrals and a system for gathering and mastering referrals. So the high value program that you deliver is called Tune Up Your Life. And as I said earlier, it maps over the same process that you go through yourself in the You Can Change Your Life. It's a 10 session well-being program, and people are now charging between $1,000 and pretty much $3,000 for that program, right? So Melanie was just under $3,000 recently, signed up your client. Congratulations, Melanie. And it's a great deal. And the way that we put this together is for people to change their life. They get the full package of transformational resources that they need. And that makes it super easy for you to create a life of service and be well rewarded for it in the process. So then, as you're building your business, you're going to find there comes a stage when you want to deliver workshops and create your own groups. And so, included in the training is a 3 hour emotional healing workshop program, two 90-minute workshops, and a webinar, and the Tune Up Your Life program that you can deliver in groups as well. In the picture here is Matty Griffiths, who's one of our master coaches. He's delivering a heart centering breathwork process with a lady who does energy sound healing in there. So Matty's been really great at connecting into networks, and that's a really fabulous way of building your practice. He's joining up with somebody who's doing some kind of a healing practice. So Matty also works with yoga teachers, Pilates teachers, sound healing, like lots and lots of things you can plug breathwork into with all the resources you get in the training. Um, yeah, so Matty's a beautiful big teddy bear kind of a guy. So I thought it might be useful for you to kind of get an idea of what does that career path look like when you're going from student to transformational leader, right? So the first stage, obviously, is you start off as a student and you start doing your practice session and founding clients. You're probably going to be working with your family and friends at that point. And so putting it out there to see if anybody would like to experience a core clearing or a heart centering meditation. And you start to gather some testimonials in there. So you start building momentum in a very gentle and easy way. And then gradually you'll find yourself moving into facilitating one-on-one sessions. Your referral basis starts to grow. You start to build a monthly income. You start building lead magnets, rolling posts, accessing some other networks like Matty did, and then getting referrals to leverage your wins to support you to continue growing. As you've been doing that for a little while and you get familiar with the process of core clearing and breathwork, different meditation techniques, there comes a time when you're probably going to want to start taking people on a deeper journey. And that's why I built the Tune Up Your Life 10-week program for you. So you can then, once you start, if you're charging $1,000 to say $3,000 for one client, then you can afford to start paying for advertisements and setting up Clarity's in enrollment sessions on a regular basis. And we'll show you how to do that in the training. And then as you get more confidence doing that, you're probably going to start facilitating group circles. And some people are drawn more to group work and some people more to private one-on-one work, which is totally fine. You can go either way, but it's really great if you can set up a meditation group or a breathwork, heart-centered breathwork group, because you start to create a hub around you of people that you nurture. They nurture you. They'll come and do sessions with you, and they will also bring their friends in to do sessions with you when they're in a transformational time as well. And then eventually you start to run your own workshops, right? And you can, what I did, I started running a meditation group, and then I took that meditation group away for a weekend to my parents' holiday house, and we did that for the weekend. And then I got more and more confidence, and I started running themes like healing with mother, healing with father, inner child healing, things like that, prosperity, stuff like that. And that just kind of built into confidence delivering workshops. And that's a really nice way to do it. And you build your database as you're going to, you're getting this groundswell underneath you. Yeah, Melanie, you started with actually the 1 minute breathing practices, I think. Tell me that I'm wrong. And as you go through this, you grow into a transformational leader, someone who's making a bigger impact in the world, in your world, at a bigger level. And that's the kind of journey that you can realistically expect yourself to step through. I think it's nice to acknowledge each of those levels as a progression rather than just kind of going, oh my God, it's like a blue Pulse painting where the cannons just shot the paint onto the wall, and it's like, oh, how can I sort all this out? So we'll guide you through all of that as you go. But basically, there are four income streams that you can access through breathwork: one-to-one sessions, transformational programs, group workshops, and then giving presentations as well. And Melanie is like on that journey. Where is it? Here she is. Yay. So Melanie started teaching the 1 minute breathing practices before she did the 2 days skills training. Melanie was already working with someone as a coach, and so I remember, Melanie, that you started telling me that you were guiding your clients through the 1 minute breathing practices while you were still on module one. And so that's where she started. She actually came in doing the 5 1 minute breathing practice challenge that I did December, must have been 2 Decembers ago or 3 Decembers ago, actually. And then swap sessions. And yeah, you've just gone from strength to strength. Melanie created a lead magnet about breathwork, which was just a really simple handout. She went down to a local park, took some photos of the paths through the park and some flowers and trees, and put them all in a lead magnet that she put together that led into paid sessions. She's now opened her own business, and you can check her out at Breathwork Gippsland, increase her Google ratings. And yeah, so congratulations, Melanie just signed someone into the Tune Up Your Life program for 2,970, and delivered a program at NDIS for $1,500 for the hour. So, well and truly paid for your whole breathwork training with one client enrolled in the Tune Up Your Life program. So good on you. You deserve it. You're a beautiful, kind, generous, caring person. So great to see you thriving. So how this all hangs together then, the format for the delivery is there's three modules. The first one I mentioned a few times, self and co-regulation. That's jumpstart. So you begin it as soon as you start working through it. Module 2 will also come online when you register. That's the 10-week You Can Change Your Life program. Each week for the 10 weeks, one unit is released. So if you're on week 3, you'll only have 3 access units there. And week 4, the next one will unfold, because I want you to work through it slowly and really put yourself into the process. And if you do that, it'll change your life. If you just listen to these modules when you're at the gym on the treadmill, it won't change your life. Okay, but if you just digest it and really engage in the process, you'll come through this training different, more heart open, more connected. Your life will be richer and sweeter than it ever has. And then module 3 is the live online skills training, Saturday and Sunday. It's 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The next one's 11th and 12th of July, which is in 10 days' time. And then there's 4 follow-on evening sessions where you get to practice swapping breathwork sessions with other people in the training, so you get experience and confidence. And that's how that all sets up. If you don't have the dates, let us know. We can send you a prospectus. And in fact, there's an email on your way to your inbox as we speak with a link to download the prospectus so you can access that. And the footnote here is you do not have to have finished module 2 before you do module 3. So don't stress. If you just signed up and you're just starting, it's totally okay. It doesn't matter which order you do them in. So just engage and give yourself real space to allow it to wash through you, and don't rush through it. Yeah, thank you, Melanie. So this is the essence of module 1. So you've got the emotional mastery book to read. It's about 100 pages, easy read. The head to heart audio maps out those 4 steps: mind, body, emotion, and heart. And then there's the 5, 10, and 20-minute heart centering breathwork meditations. That's all in the online learning module in module one. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. Thank you, Patricia. Fantastic. As a bonus to module one, you also get the 12 1 minute breathing practices with all the PowerPoints that map out the benefits, the science, and the instructions on each of these practices. So you could run a 12-week program at a community center. I'd probably add on a week at the start and a week at the end. So or you can run a 10 week and do a school term and then just pick out your favorite 8 breathing practices. All of this is done for you. So it's just super easy. It's super simple to plug and play. You could run a 5-day breathwork challenge if you want to. You can use these anywhere you like in go and visit somebody else's group. We have Sarah Moore is an early childhood development leader mentor. She's teaching these in her presentations now, and I'll show you her feedback in a second. Also in module one as a bonus is a heart visioning 1-day workshop recording. And this is all about what would your life look like if you just listened to and followed your heart, right? And so there's 4 meditations in here: heart centering, heart visioning, heart clearing, and heart manifesting. So just work through those and help you to get clear and congruent with living the life that you're here to live. And then the third bonus in module one is there's 17 sessions on how to be the best breathwork practitioner you can be and how to work with specific issues that your clients might come to you with. So I've mapped it out really clearly. People come to you with a busy negative mind, if they've got anxiety, anger, physical pain, trauma, not sleeping, healing grief, finding self-love, peak performance, presenting breathwork in a corporate workplace, or helping youth to thrive. It's all mapped out. Each of these is a 1-hour teaching on down-to-earth practical advice, what to do in a session with people that come to see you. So you're really well covered. That's a resource you can access whenever you like. I know, again, this is the Melanie show tonight, but Melanie told me when she first watched this, she said, "Oh, that's a great series." She said, "I watched the first 5 and then I had to go to bed." So that's 5 hours of watching videos of Nicholas. That's an overload of Nicholas, but that's what you need to do no, you don't, to be successful. So good on you, Melody. Yeah, they are so rich. They are like from my 30 years of being a breathwork practitioner. I can tell you, I've probably seen and experienced pretty much everything that you could possibly imagine. And so I'm drawing on that experience and summing it up with little stories and studies and examples and that. So you really get close up to the coalface of personal growth and healing. Module 2, as I mentioned before, is the You Can Change Your Life 10-week program. So each week for 10 weeks, you'll look at one of the key areas of your life. I'll teach you about if you were living from your heart in that area, what that would look like, where you might be stuck. And then we do a core clearing breathwork session to clear those blocks. And then you'll find there's implementation things to do during the week to put that into practice. Doesn't take a lot of time. It's just incorporating little practices that can help you to integrate this to shift your life. As I mentioned, when you go through that program, you get the same program to deliver to your clients, and you get everything you need. This is a copy of the banner that you can personalize and customize. There's all the email sequences are written, marketing plans, Facebook ad, there's a lead magnet done for you. There's an invitation letter that you can send to people inviting them to join to this program. It's about a 3-page letter that I put a lot of work into making, super clear and simple and inspiring. I've built now a PowerPoint presentation for you that you can present this one-on-one with somebody who's interested or to a group and enroll them into the Tune Up Your Life program. And there's an enrollment script. So everything you need is done for you in this. Then The third module in the training is the actual skills training on the Saturday and Sunday, and you'll learn everything you need to facilitate breathwork sessions in there. And this is Katie Scope. She lives in the middle of Western Australia, like in the desert. If you threw a dart at the middle of Western Australia, she's there. And when I first spoke to her on the phone, she said, I'm not sure how this will go in a mining town because my biggest challenge is keeping the kids away from the snakes in the backyard. And she went out. I had no contact with her after she did the training, but she sent her assessment in. She told me she was now facilitating sessions in the kindergarten with the kids, emotional intelligent breathwork sessions. And she set up a women's circle in the town to support all the women in the area. She ran them during school terms, and she was enrolling people from that circle into the 10-week Tune Up Your Life program. This is by the time she just sent me her assessment in, she'd already enrolled 3 people in that 10-week program. The first at 800 and the next two at 1,000. So she had well and truly paid for the program. So she's just like you and me, a beautiful, open-hearted, sensitive soul with a passion to make a difference. So I mentioned also in the training, you get a 3-hour emotional healing workshop and two 90-minute workshops. I put this together for Alicia in Brisbane. She presented this healing workshop in her yoga studio. The yoga lady who owns the studio got everyone together. She had 14 participants. They paid $90 each, so they took 1,200 between the two of them for 3 hours work. It was pretty cool. So you get everything you need in the training. It's all in there and a whole lot more that I haven't even mentioned in here. So all of these things I've mentioned so far. So it's all in there. Facebook ads, swap sessions, handbooks, manuals, everything is recorded, by the way. It's all in our membership site and you can access it for as long as you like. There's no expiry date on that. Whenever you like, you can go back and refresh any part of the training. We are internationally recognized by the leading alternate health practitioners society in the world, the International Institute for Complementary Therapies. That means you can get professional indemnity insurance. So this is a full professional training. You'll get proper credibility with this, and you become part of our global heart-centered community. So you become part of that. You can plug in at the level that you like, and there's mountains of support and connections, and we're just building that more and more strongly. I spend most of my days, honestly, making this course better, even that it is that I've already shown you. So the whole value of the 3 modules, if you break it down, comes to over $5,000. And at the moment, the training is about half that price, $2,950 if you pay in installments, or it's $2,700 if you pay up front. And as I mentioned, it's 10 days to the training. The value of the bonuses on top of that is about another $8,000 worth of value. So this is a fantastic investment opportunity. I had one clarity session recently, and the lady said, this sounds too good. I don't think I can do the training because I don't believe it that it could be that good. And it is, and you can just ask anybody here. There's so much value in this. And I like being creative. I want to have this as the leading program in the world. And it doesn't cost me anything to add more value to it and to help people to get successful on it. I actually feel responsible for the people doing the training to give them the very best chance they have of creating a life that they love with breathwork, just like I have too. So I take my commitment to you very seriously, and I genuinely care about your success. Helen Checkers in Alice Springs, hardly the New Age Centre of Australia, and she works in a dental clinic. She's also a hypnotherapist and an NLP practitioner, and she brought breathwork in. So she's selling the Tune Up Your Life program. This is about more than a year ago for $1,250. Her hourly rate's $200 an hour, so she's actually generating more money doing her healing work now than she does in the dental clinic that she works in. So Kim Marie, I'm showing you these because I want you to you can do this. You can do this. This is Kim Marie. Kim Marie was unemployed. She had done no other healing modality trainings when she came and did our training. And with 1 month of finishing her training, she had 1,700 people on her Facebook group. She'd started a Spotify podcast. She was building a stress relief and wellbeing program. She'd signed up 3 clients for the 10-week program at $900 each, right? So she paid for the whole training. So you get everything you need in here. And Kim Marie, she's a beautiful person, but chances are you are too. And she just picked the ball up and ran with it. So I want you to see this is real. This is not pie in the sky, fancy pantsy. This is actual lots and lots of people making this work. So when you register, if you're already registered, you've probably got access to this. This is our membership site. And I just want to point out Module 1 is here. The bonus for Module 1 is in here. Module 2 is here. And Module 3 is here. So it's very step by step. You'll get access when you register to Module 1 and the bonus Module 1 and Module 2. And then when we do the 2 days training, you'll get access to Module 3. And that's how that works. If you have any trouble logging in, just contact O'Brien and she'll give you the link. This is our latest addition to everything that's already in the training. I just put a 100K breathwork program together to help people who want to go there to actually generate $100,000 with breathwork. And it's actually not as hard as you might first think, because if you can put together a program worth $2,000 and sell one a week, that's $100,000, right? So I've given you all the resources to be able to make that happen, including a training that goes with it that guides you step by step on how to do that. This is Sarah Moore, and I'll put this in to remind you, this is not just a skills training, this is a life transforming experience. And the training that you're coming up to in a couple of weeks is actually personally transforming. And Sarah sent me this email on Monday after the training, and she said, "Thank you both, Susan and I, for creating such a profoundly transformative learning space. This experience has left a deep imprint on me, not just cognitively, but somatically. Something fundamental shifted. The container you held was so attuned, so safe, that allowed each of us to show up more fully as ourselves. Very quickly, a field of resonance formed. The group coherence was palpable. It felt like the level of oxytocin in the space was rising moment by moment, and with it, our capacity to be more open, more present, and more real." She says, "I've been engaging with the 20-minute core clearing meditation over the past couple of months." To get onto that if you haven't started. But something clicked during this training, not from a place of mental understanding, but from deep within my body. For the first time, I truly dropped out of my head and into my body. This morning, I experienced one of the deepest heart connections I've had in years. It was quiet, still, and alive. Yeah, high five to Sarah. And, this is like, get ready to get excited. You are joining a beautiful community of people who care and want to help you and support you, and probably all full of kind of what we might call weird people, because we all can feel in a world that doesn't feel, and so sensitive, open-hearted people. So get ready to get excited. We have lots and lots of people come through our training in the last 25 years. Medical doctors have come themselves. Lots of medical doctors send their clients, patients to us as well. So if you're watching this and you haven't enrolled in the training, then you need to, and you'd like to, you need to book a clarity session with me. That's just a chance for us to meet, have a conversation, for me to get to know you a little bit, and for us to work out if this is the right path for you. So that's a free 30-minute clarity session, and the link to register for that is in your inbox, or will be linked to this recording if you're watching it after the session. So take a breath for a moment. I've been talking for a while now, and I'd like you just to tune in and let me know a little feedback. How are you feeling now? What's your big takeaway from this session? What have you learned? Where have you come to right now in this moment? Are you excited, nervous, bored. O'Brien's just put the link to that prospectus if you've lost it or you don't have it yet in the chat. And if you want to book a time for a chat, for a clarity session, if you're interested in doing the training and you haven't enrolled, the link is there too. But in the chat, I'd really appreciate a bit of feedback from you now. I've been given out for an hour. I'd love to hear how you're traveling with this. Thanks, Melanie. Absolutely brilliant. Love this. Where do I sign up? Yes. So great. Lots to learn and lots of self-development. Yeah, great. This is really a personal growth program. So the best way to accelerate your own personal growth is to become a facilitator because you just put yourself in the process. You're immersing yourself in your own healing journey and it accelerated in that way. And so its ultimate personal growth journey is to become a breathwork practitioner for sure. Feeling grateful and excited about the next training with everybody. Yes, me too. Excited but nervous. Great. Time to move past the imposter syndrome and have faith I can do this. Yeah, so I didn't mention it specifically, but in module one, if you've got some imposter syndrome going, like, I don't have my own life together. Who am I to tell other people how to live their life? Or like, I've got my life is such a mess. How could I be helping others to find clarity? All that kind of jazz. Listen to the confident breathwork training that I did in module one in the Heart Centered Coaching series, because Susan said to me after listening to my presentation for 25 years, she said after that, that was one of the best presentations I've ever heard you give. And I've got heaps to say about that imposter thing. It's actually a good quality, that sense of humility and that sense of vulnerability in there, something not to lose, in fact, because it makes you human, it makes you open, it makes you available to people. Like the most dangerous therapists are the ones who think they know everything, right? They're arrogant, they're not in relationship. So that learning how to use that sense of vulnerability in a healthy way is a wonderful thing that I hope you never lose. Right. So listen to that recording, it'll help you. A bit excited, nervous. Yeah, I'll be did that. Like a vast ocean of possibility. Absolutely inspired and have courage to dive in. Yeah, fantastic. Personal growth that has also benefited my family and friends. Yeah, better me. Yeah, yeah. And so this is a commitment, and like all commitments, what you put into it is proportional to what you get back from it, but the rewards are like huge. So yeah, I really want to encourage you to jump all the way in. You've probably already paid for the training, so it's like you've got nothing to lose now, so why just give it half? Why not give it 110% and get everything that you can from it so that you can take that out and help the world to be a better place? Lots to take in. Love it. Great. Quite nervous about building my business. Having a blast to be here. Open to hear my heart. Keep self-developing and growing. Wonderful. Yeah, fantastic. Uh, yeah, and there are people like Patricia here, nervous to start in 2004, but the journey put me where I am today. A fabulous reward. Yeah, so you can make this happen and live a wonderful life, and you've got so many great support and resources around you from me, from Susan, from O'Brien, from our master coaches, and from the community as well. So, yeah, the world needs you to step up and come out and get over yourself, right? And I'm speaking from my own experience there. So, thank you for joining me. I'm going to end the recording in a moment, but as you probably know, I like to dedicate the merit at the end of our sessions, and that's a Buddhist practice of turning personal growth into spiritual growth by giving it all away. This is just a nice way to round a session off, and then I'll stop the recording and we'll open the channel for any questions or sharings that you want to voice. So I'd like to invite you to sit yourself up nice and straight, let your eyes close for a moment, and let go of everything that you've heard. It's recorded. You don't need to remember it. You can go back and listen to it if you like. So just be in the present moment. Take a breath inside, into your belly, filling up to your chest, and then letting go. Taking another breath inside and just take a moment to cultivate some gratitude for the insights, the understandings, the opportunities, the support, the energy that's present here for you. And then breathing out with the intention that you might become more peaceful, happy, and loving in your world. And then taking another deep breath in down to your belly and up to your chest, feeling the energy inside, nervous, excited, inspired, hopeful, breathing into all of that and all the insights and understandings and what lays ahead for you, the opportunities, and then breathing out with the intention that you could give it away, that the people in your life might become more peaceful, happy, and loving. And then the last breath, nice deep breath again, breathing inside, feeling what it's like to be alive. So grateful for everything in your life. Breathing into that, letting your heart open. Grateful for this time that we've shared, the opportunities, and then breathing out as if you could give it all away so that all living beings might become more peaceful, happy, and loving. Taking another deep breath in, gently bring yourself back into the present moment. When you're ready, let your eyes open. Once again, thank you for joining us. It's been great to have you here. Look forward to connecting again soon.